it creeped me out. I thought maybe it was some person, but the more I looked at it, the more I realized that it was a lot bigger than a normal person would be.
On April 15, 2009 in Ontario, Canada, at precisely 2:39 p.m., a woman named Jean Habir opened her blinds and saw something unusual. Approximately half a football field away, a massive figure stood motionless. Shocked by the sight, she immediately called for her husband and grabbed a camera. The couple watched as the creature, despite noticing them, did not react or flee. Mr. Habir took 2 photographs before it disappeared into the dense wilderness. 15 minutes later, the creature reappeared, providing the couple with one last opportunity to capture another image. Then, just as suddenly as before, it vanished once more, never to be seen again. The Habirs estimated its height to be around 10 feet, though they admitted this could be an overestimation.
I understand there was an incident that took place here?
Yeah, I'm a logger, and 2 weeks ago, we were all working out here. There was at least 20 guys, and we just started noticing things were moved.
In the following weeks, strange events occurred at their cabin. The screens on their windows were found torn off, and they had no explanation for how it happened. No human or known animal could be linked to the damage. Feeling uneasy after their experience, the couple decided to sell their cabin in 2010, unwilling to risk further encounters. The photographs taken that day remain some of the clearest images ever captured of a Sasquatch. While many Bigfoot sightings produce blurry, indistinct images, these stood out for their clarity. The creature's broad build, lack of a visible neck, and dense hair covering its body aligned with traditional descriptions of Sasquatch. Even its face, though partially obscured, had distinct primate-like features.
Those who take Bigfoot seriously don't take every alleged Bigfoot video seriously. In fact, they're often the first to call foul on the fakers. So when they tell us they've seen video they think is legit, we take a look too.
Skeptics question the authenticity of the photos, but several people who knew the Habirs vouched for their integrity. Friends and neighbors expressed doubt that the couple would fabricate such a story, given their character and the impact the sighting had on their lives. The images sparked intense debate within the Bigfoot research community. Could this be definitive proof, or was there another explanation?
An intriguing discovery is being investigated in a community east of Seattle. Someone came across a lengthy trail of extremely large footprints. Now, a Sasquatch investigator is looking into the matter, which has also piqued the interest of a renowned researcher here on the island.
Alaska Footprint Discovery, 2025. Fast forward to January 22nd, 2025, when a man in Alaska made a discovery that reignited the Bigfoot debate. While walking outside to tend to his chickens, he stumbled upon massive footprints in the snow. At first, he dismissed them as nothing unusual, but upon closer inspection, he realized the sheer size and spacing of the prints defied conventional explanation. The footprints stretched an impressive 7 to 8 feet apart, a stride far beyond human capability. He compared them to his own boot prints, and the difference was staggering. The tracks were significantly larger, with elongated toes that suggested something far different from a bear or other known wildlife.
Those who take Bigfoot seriously don't take every alleged Bigfoot video seriously. In fact, they're often the first to call foul on the fakers.
Alaska has long been associated with tales of mysterious creatures roaming its vast, uninhabited landscapes. Indigenous groups such as the Tlingit and Athabascan people have passed down stories for generations about large, hairy, humanoid beings lurking in the forests. Some refer to them as kushtaka, wild men or forest spirits capable of luring people into the wilderness. Another legend speaks of the Yuri Yuli, a giant, hairy creature believed to inhabit the forests of southwestern Alaska. According to these legends, these beings were once lost children who had transformed into monstrous creatures, roaming the land ever since. While the footprints captured in 2025 may not directly confirm these indigenous legends, they align with the region's long history of cryptid folklore. Examining the prints more closely, the man noted how some of the impressions showed irregular toe shapes, distinguishing them from any typical animal track. Could this be the first true evidence linking Alaska's legendary wild men to the modern-day Bigfoot phenomenon? Virginia Bigfoot encounter. Meanwhile, in Virginia, a man exploring a remote forested area had an unexpected encounter. Initially, he thought he spotted a bear and pulled out his phone to record. He called out, "Bear! Hey, bear!" expecting it to react. But as he zoomed in, he realized this was no ordinary animal. The creature was partially concealed behind a tree, revealing only its upper body. It was covered in dark hair, but its face stood out. Its features resembled a strange mix of human and primate. The exposed skin on its face had a grayish hue, and the deep wrinkles on its forehead were visible even from a distance. As the man recorded, the creature seemed to be observing him, occasionally peeking from behind the tree. Virginia has a history of Bigfoot sightings. In 1990, hunters in Shenandoah National Park claimed to have seen a massive bipedal creature walking upright. They described it as over 7 feet tall, with broad shoulders and long arms. The creature allegedly let out a deep, guttural yell before vanishing into the woods. In the early 2000s, a family camping near the Peaks of Otter reported seeing a similar creature watching them from the tree line. When they moved, it appeared to follow them at a distance. They later found large, 15-inch footprints near their campsite. The 2014 Wise County sighting added further credibility to Virginia's reputation as a Bigfoot hotspot. That year, residents reported hearing loud, unidentifiable screams echoing through the night. A local farmer claimed to have seen a massive, dark-furred figure moving across his property, describing it as around 8 feet tall. Large footprints were later found near a creek bed. The man's footage from 2025 adds yet another piece to the puzzle. The creature's behavior, watching from behind a tree rather than running, raises questions. Was it curious, cautious, or was it used to staying hidden, perfectly aware of how to evade human detection? Michigan footprint incident. The story of strange footprints doesn't end there. A student at Grand Valley State University in Michigan had an equally unsettling encounter in mid-February. Hiking deep in the woods with friends, he suddenly stopped in his tracks, literally. Bare footprints, massive in size, were imprinted deep in the snow and ice. The tracks continued for some distance, with no other signs of human presence. Given the freezing temperatures and the remote location, the idea that someone had walked barefoot in such conditions seemed absurd. The group followed the footprints for as long as they could, but eventually they disappeared. Adding to their unease, the students recalled previous experiences of feeling watched while hiking in these same woods. One friend even claimed to have seen something moving from treetop to treetop, an impossibility given that no primates, let alone large ones, inhabit Michigan. After the encounter, the student researched Bigfoot reports in the area. To his shock, he found multiple accounts of sightings within the same county, dating back years. Skeptics suggested the prints could belong to a bear, but this raised another question. Where were the claw marks? Bears have distinct tracks, and their double-step motion leaves recognizable imprints. Yet these footprints had defined toes and no signs of claws. As the story spread online, it divided opinions. Some argued that the prints were too small for a Bigfoot. However, the student countered that juvenile Bigfoots, or even smaller individuals, could exist, much like how humans vary in size. Michigan hiker's close call, 2025. In another chilling encounter, a hiker in Michigan captured eerie footage while trekking through a snow-covered forest. The peaceful setting quickly turned unsettling when deep, resonant growls echoed through the trees. Alarmed, the hiker scanned his surroundings and briefly caught sight of a massive figure. Though it was mostly hidden, its movements were swift and deliberate. "It just took off running," he said in shock. "What the heck is that thing?" As the growls intensified, the hiker realized he was not alone. The noises grew louder, suggesting that whatever was out there was getting closer. Many viewers believed this was an undeniable Bigfoot encounter, as the guttural sounds did not match any known wildlife in the region. The tension in the video was palpable. At one point, the hiker's fear was evident as he backed away, choosing to retreat rather than risk an actual confrontation.
Look out, John. Nice.
Oregon roadside Bigfoot photo, 2014. In another fascinating case, a photograph of a Sasquatch crossing a gravel road near Seaside, Oregon, surfaced years after the event. The image was first shared by veteran Bigfoot researcher Todd Nice, who received it from an unexpected source, a DMV clerk. During a casual conversation, the clerk revealed that a friend had captured a mysterious figure on camera while driving through the rural roads of Oregon. The photograph, taken on September 8, 2014, showed a massive figure mid-stride, walking across the road from right to left before disappearing into the dense woods. The person who took the photo managed to snap only one image before the creature vanished. Todd Nice, who had his own Bigfoot sighting in 1993, found the image particularly compelling. According to his analysis, the side profile of the figure aligned with known Bigfoot characteristics. The forward-leaning posture, the long arms, and the way the rear leg bent back at an unusual angle all indicated that this was not a human in a costume. Nice compared the leg positioning to well-known Bigfoot gait studies, specifically the famous Patterson-Gimlin film. Researchers have identified a distinctive shin rise angle in Sasquatch locomotion, around 73 degrees, which differs significantly from the 52-degree average of human movement. This suggests a different anatomical structure, possibly designed for covering long distances with minimal energy expenditure. One of the most compelling aspects of the Oregon image was the lack of publicity surrounding it. The person who took the photo never sought recognition, financial gain, or internet fame. They simply shared it in private conversations. This absence of a motive to fabricate the sighting added credibility to the claim. Additionally, the location of this sighting was only 5 miles away from Todd Nice's own encounter decades earlier, further strengthening the argument that Bigfoot could indeed inhabit this region. Washington River Bigfoot image. Another image surfaced from the Hoh River in the Washington Peninsula. A fisherman shared a photograph he took while fishing. According to the fisherman, he had seen this same creature multiple times over the years, even hearing it howling and seemingly communicating with others of its kind. During this particular incident, he spotted the figure across the river, standing motionless in the dense foliage. The figure appeared tall, covered in dark hair, and walking upright. One of the most fascinating details in this case was the sound of its vocalizations. The fisherman claimed that when it made noise, its voice was deep, guttural, and impossible for a human to mimic. The language it seemed to speak was unintelligible, described as gibberish, yet structured in a way that suggested communication. Upon analyzing the image, researchers noted some key characteristics that matched previous Bigfoot sightings. The creature's posture was hunched, resembling primate locomotion. Its face, though slightly out of focus, was hairless and lighter in color, which has been reported in multiple encounters. The long, dark hair covering its head and body added to the consistency of these claims. Could this be more proof of Bigfoot's existence, or was there another explanation? Many in the Bigfoot community considered this to be one of the more credible photographic captures of the elusive creature. TikTok Bigfoot sighting, 2025. On January 14, 2025, a TikTok user named Sunshineable uploaded a shocking video that quickly went viral. Known for casually filming her walks in the woods, she never expected to capture what appeared to be a Sasquatch lurking in the background. The footage starts innocently enough, with Sunshine commenting on the cold weather. Suddenly, a large dark figure emerges from behind the trees, appearing to lean forward as if watching her. The moment it realizes it has been spotted, it quickly retreats back into the forest. Sunshine, visibly shaken, immediately turned and ran from the area, her phone still recording. The figure in question was covered in thick dark fur, but unlike many Bigfoot reports, it didn't appear exceptionally tall. Some viewers speculated that it could be a juvenile Sasquatch, still growing and developing its full size. Skeptics, on the other hand, suggested that this could be a person in a costume. However, longtime followers of Sunshine pointed out that she had never attempted to stage or fake any content before. If this was a hoax, it would have been an uncharacteristic move for her. Adding to the mystery was her caption referencing TikTok's impending ban on January 19th. Some suggested she might have staged the video for engagement before the platform shut down, but others argued that her fear in the moment seemed genuine. Regardless of whether the footage was authentic or not, the video quickly gained over 100,000 views, drawing widespread debate. Was this real evidence of a young Sasquatch, or just another case of misidentification? Bigfoot footprint casting, 2024. In mid-September 2024, two Bigfoot researchers made an incredible discovery while searching for evidence in an undisclosed location. While investigating a remote area, they found a series of large footprints imprinted in the dirt. Unlike many past discoveries, these prints were exceptionally well preserved, making them ideal for casting. Excited by their find, the researchers used professional equipment to create plaster casts of the footprints. As they cleaned off the first cast, they were immediately struck by one detail: the enormous size of the big toe. "This isn't a human footprint," one of the researchers said. "The structure is completely different." The researchers hypothesized that the print could belong to a young female Sasquatch that had not yet fully matured. They noted that Sasquatch feet are structurally different from human feet, with unique joint formations and pressure distribution. One researcher speculated, "I'm beginning to wonder if there's something about their anatomy we don't fully understand. Their joints, their bone structure. It's clearly built differently from ours." The casted footprint was noticeably larger than a typical human foot, even for an adult male. If this was indeed from a juvenile, it raised the question, how big would a fully grown Bigfoot be? Historical Bigfoot footprint discoveries. The researchers' find joined a long history of famous Bigfoot footprint discoveries, including 1958 Jerry Crew cast, Bluff Creek, California. A construction worker found massive footprints near his job site, leading to one of the first widely publicized Bigfoot cases. 1969 Bosberg footprint, Washington. This set of prints featured a deformed foot, which some experts argued was too anatomically precise to be faked. 1982 London tracks, Oregon. Forestry workers found a series of footprints that showed pressure distribution consistent with a heavy, bipedal creature. Each of these discoveries has been studied extensively, with some researchers concluding that they provide strong evidence of an unknown primate species. With modern technology, researchers are now able to analyze dermal ridges, weight distribution, and foot structure with greater accuracy. Could these advancements finally prove the existence of Bigfoot? Final thoughts on the evidence. The cases examined, from the Ontario photographs to the Alaska footprints, Virginia encounter, and the newly discovered Washington and Oregon images, paint a compelling picture. Each case presents unique elements, yet they all share consistent characteristics. The creatures appear bipedal, large, and covered in thick hair. Their movements are fast, deliberate, and strategic, often avoiding prolonged exposure. The footprints exhibit distinctive anatomical features, different from humans and known animals. Eyewitnesses, including hunters, researchers, and ordinary people, continue to describe encounters with creatures that fit the Bigfoot profile. As new footage and discoveries emerge, the legend of Bigfoot only grows stronger. Is science on the verge of confirming its existence, or will skepticism continue to dominate the debate? The most compelling Bigfoot evidence yet. With an increasing number of sightings, photographs, and footprint discoveries, the evidence for Bigfoot's existence continues to build. From the Ontario photographs in 2009 to the Alaska footprint discovery in 2025, each encounter presents unique but consistent characteristics that align with descriptions dating back decades. Skeptics argue that without a physical specimen, these reports remain inconclusive. However, for those who have witnessed these creatures firsthand, the debate is no longer about if Bigfoot exists, but rather why we haven't officially recognized its existence yet. One of the most striking elements of these cases is the geographical consistency. The sightings span across the United States and Canada, with notable reports in Washington and Oregon, home to dense forests where multiple videos and photographs have emerged. Alaska, where enormous footprints suggest a bipedal creature with an inhuman stride. Virginia, where a humanoid figure resembling a primate with distinct facial features was caught on video. Michigan, where both hikers and TikTok users have filmed encounters. adding to the growing body of modern evidence. The Patterson-Gimlin film and modern comparisons.
From this film, you can identify that there is an upright walking biped in that film.
The Patterson-Gimlin film of 1967 remains one of the most analyzed pieces of Bigfoot evidence. Filmed in Bluff Creek, California, this short clip captures a large, bipedal creature covered in thick hair, walking through the forest. Despite numerous attempts to debunk the footage, experts in biomechanics and motion analysis argue that the creature's movement, limb proportions, and muscle visibility beneath the fur suggest it is not a human in a suit. Now, compare this to modern Bigfoot footage, such as the Virginia sighting, where the creature's posture, facial structure, and thick fur coat mirror what was seen in the Patterson-Gimlin film. The Oregon roadside Bigfoot photograph, which captures a figure in mid-stride, displaying an unusual shin-rise angle. The Washington fisherman sighting, where the creature's hairless, lighter-colored face resembles descriptions from other encounters. If the Patterson-Gimlin footage was real, and modern footage captures creatures with similar characteristics, does this suggest that Bigfoot has always been among us, just hiding in plain sight? Why hasn't a Bigfoot body been found? One of the most common arguments from skeptics is, if Bigfoot is real, why don't we have a body? There are several possible explanations. Extreme wilderness environments. Bigfoot sightings typically occur in densely forested remote regions. Just like mountain lions and bears, their bodies are rarely found in the wild. Scavenger activity. Large animal carcasses decompose quickly, often eaten by coyotes, wolves, insects, and bacteria before human discovery. Burial behavior. Some researchers suggest that Bigfoot, much like elephants and primates, may bury its dead, leaving little to no trace of remains. Government secrecy. Some speculate that national parks and wildlife agencies intentionally withhold evidence of Bigfoot to prevent mass hysteria or interference with protected wilderness areas.
Certainly hope we can help you. We will look microscopically at this hair sample. It's always easier to say what it's not when you're just looking at physical characteristics than truly what it is, and that's what the DNA will tell us.
The case for DNA evidence. Although no confirmed Bigfoot body has been retrieved, biological evidence such as hair samples, blood traces, and DNA analysis have yielded interesting results. A notable study by Dr. Melba Ketchum examined DNA samples collected from different Bigfoot encounters. Her findings included mitochondrial DNA, mtDNA, matching human genetics, suggesting a maternal human origin. Nuclear DNA, nDNA, contains unknown sequences, meaning the species was unlike anything currently documented in modern genetics. A theory that Bigfoot could be a hybrid species, possibly a distant relative of humans. Although critics dismiss the study, citing potential contamination, the findings remain one of the most fascinating pieces of scientific evidence in Bigfoot research. Theories on Bigfoot's origins. If Bigfoot is real, what exactly is it? Researchers have proposed several theories. 1. A surviving Gigantopithecus. Gigantopithecus was an ancient primate that lived hundreds of thousands of years ago. Fossil records suggest it stood over 10 feet tall, matching Bigfoot sighting descriptions. Some believe it may have migrated across the Bering Land Bridge, evolving into the North American Sasquatch. 2. An undiscovered hominid species. Bigfoot could be a separate branch of hominids, similar to Neanderthals or Denisovans. Fossil evidence suggests many human-like species once existed, some of which may still be undiscovered. If Bigfoot is intelligent, it may have developed an instinct to avoid human contact, explaining why it remains elusive. 3. A paranormal or interdimensional being. Some indigenous tribes believe Bigfoot is a spiritual entity rather than a physical creature. Reports often describe Bigfoot vanishing suddenly, as if moving between dimensions. Some sightings include unexplainable phenomena, such as glowing eyes or a sudden eerie silence in the forest. The future of Bigfoot research. As technology advances, so do efforts to uncover definitive proof of Bigfoot. Researchers are now utilizing thermal imaging drones to detect heat signatures in remote forests, AI-driven sound analysis to identify and classify Sasquatch-like vocalizations, advanced genetic sequencing to analyze hair and tissue samples, motion tracking cameras with night vision to capture high-resolution images. There is also a push for greater transparency from government agencies. Some Bigfoot enthusiasts believe that national park rangers and law enforcement have classified knowledge about Bigfoot sightings, but choose not to disclose it to avoid public panic. Could we be on the verge of a breakthrough? Skeptics will always demand a definitive body or fossil record, but with the increase in eyewitness encounters, physical evidence, and scientific analysis, the search for Bigfoot is more serious than ever. Perhaps the real question isn't whether Bigfoot exists, but rather, how much longer can we deny the overwhelming evidence? As new technology enhances our ability to track and study this elusive creature, we may soon have the answer to one of the greatest mysteries of all time. Is this the most incredible evidence of Bigfoot ever captured? You decide.